Hey everyone, I am Punit Vachani. On this video, I have talked with Nachiket Soni, who was into GSOC last year. In this video, he has talked about open source, how he managed to join GSOC, and many more amazing stuff. Timestamps are given below. You can move around if you want. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. So let's listen to Nachiket Soni only on The White Collar. So hi Nachiket भैया, welcome to White Collar and I want to convey thanks for कि आप इतना valuable time देके यहाँ आए हो हमारे podcast में, and from the team of White Collar I heartily welcome you in the podcast. So how are you doing?
I'm doing fine and thank you for having me here. Honestly, this is the first time I'm actually giving a podcast wala thingy. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. So yeah.
Let's see how it goes and कैसा podcast रहता है, किस audience को कैसे मजा आती है. See, so let's start कि मेरे mind में तो first question यही उतर रहा है कि what is open source and introduce us the world of your open source.
So, I mean, just to give you an introduction to myself as well, thoda, I am Nachiket Soni, if people don't know me. I did my GSOC last year, and when I talk about open source, as you asked, open source is more about community for me. It's more about the people who are passionate about something, contributing to a community, and that's how open source community works, right? And the fact that कई बार तुम open source में contribute करते हो, softwares होते हैं, and it's not just something that you do, right? Open source is a way of thinking, for me at least, right? So that is something that I usually tell people when they ask me what is open source. It's more about the community and it's more about how you shape that community using your skills.
Okay, so how you first introduce in the open source? आपका introduction कैसे हुआ था open source से?
मेरा introduction open source से तब हुआ था जब लॉकडाउन चल रहा था, ठीक है.
Of course, हाँ, जो अभी जो ऑनलाइन वाले स्टूडेंट्स हैं उन्होंने बहुत अचीवमेंट कर लिया. अभी तो हम ऑफलाइन आ गए, तो इट्स लाइक 9 to 6 वाला पूरा कॉलेज, उसके बाद इट्स थक जाता है. तो ऑनलाइन में जो काफी जो स्टूडेंट्स निकले हैं वो काफी आगे बढ़ गए. मैंने आई सॉ द प्रोफाइल्स एंड ऑल.
Like that is true actually, like lockdown में people got a lot of time to think about for themselves, कि ये भागा दौड़ी में नहीं रहना है. तो I think I was one of them. मेरे को actually first semester के बाद थोड़ा बहुत होने लगा था कि I need to do something. There's something going wrong. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right. And then lockdown hit, and I was like, shit, I need to start doing something. Otherwise, how am I gonna spend my time? So I started looking through courses and all. And for me, introduction to open source was when a friend of mine told me that there is something called open source. There is something called GitHub. There's something called Git. Right. And I started learning about that, but not that actively. It was more after a point जब मैंने एक course किया था Coursera में. It was a specialization course in data science.
Data science.
Right. And one thing that data science has a lot of is their emphasis on reproducibility.
Okay.
Right. Things need to be reproducible, and for that you need to keep things transparent. Open source helps you to keep things transparent, right? Because everything's available online. You can go through it at your wish, right? So yeah, I would say this was more or less how I was introduced to open source and I found it interesting.
So मेरा एक क्वेश्चन उतर रहा है कि जनरली स्टार्टिंग में क्या रहता है, people tend to explore many things like data science, AI, ML, then pure DSA, open source. So did you start did you explore something firstly or start directly आपने start करा कि open source start करता है?
नहीं, वैसा तो नहीं था. Like again, when you're talking about all of those things, those make up computer programming.
Yeah.
Right. And open source is nothing but a superset of everything that is covered in what you said. DSA हो गया, competitive programming हो गया. It's basically more or less that only. And I have been, one of those victims who are like, CP करेंगे, ठीक है. Because again, who can, ऐसे restrict the urge to do that. But हाँ, I think एक महीना रहता था consistency, फिर चले जाता था कूड़े के दान में. इसलिए फिर आया था कि नहीं, चलो कुछ और करते, कुछ अलग देखते हैं. because I think I've always been of this curious mindset जहाँ पे मेरे को लगता है कि नहीं, you know, this is interesting, maybe I should do that. This is interesting, maybe I should do that. You know, and I think that helped me explore a lot of avenues that weren't explored by a lot of people. Right.
Nice, perfect. So मैं अपने दर्शकों को बताना चाहता हूँ, जो गूगल है वो एक ओपन सोर्स प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज करता है, दैट इज गूगल समर कोड। तो नचिकेत भैया जो है वो GSOC में उन्होंने मतलब प्रोग्राम में उन्होंने एनरोल करा था, मतलब हो गए थे सिलेक्ट। सो टेल अस अबाउट GSOC के वो कैसा आपने क्या मतलब कैसे शुरुआत हुई थी और कैसा रहा आपका पूरा जर्नी GSOC का? So first of all, I would like to congratulate for GSOC.
Thank you. I mean, people congratulate me for it, but then, you know, I think that why am I being congratulated? I just did something that was done like by a lot of other people, you know. But if I talk about Google Summer of Code, man, where do I start? I think it started in first year when a friend of mine was talking to me. He's in VIT by the way.
Okay.
And he told me that there is something called Google Summer of Code. I like, oh, okay, let's look into that. Then he was like, there is Google Season of Documentation as well. Maybe we can start there. I was like, okay, chalo dekhte hain. I started on my laptop. I was like, Google Season of Documentation kya hota hai? Then I went through the organization. I went through, you know, the organization ka jo bhi project list hota hai. I'm like, damn, I don't know anything at all.
Yeah.
You know, like कुछ भी लिखा था मेरे को उस टाइम पे पता भी नहीं था API क्या होता है.
Okay.
Right. So I was like, यार ऐसा तो नहीं चलेगा यार, अभी इसे नहीं आ रहा तो अभी I think I should start learning. Right. So I made it a target for myself that, you know, by the time Google Summer of Code के applications open होते हैं, I should know at least that much कि मेरे को question समझ आ जाए, कि मेरे को project जो चल रहा है उसके बारे में कुछ समझ आ जाए.
Okay.
Now, one thing that I think I should mention here is Google Summer of Code is not something that you crack. It's not JW. Yeah. Honestly, okay. Don't treat it like that. There is everything in it, and there are a lot of things that you can try because it's open. It's for everyone, right? Yeah. So, So I would say that at that point of time, I knew about Google Summer of Code, and I had something. I had it in mind कि नहीं मेरे को next year, second year के end में around that time I need to do something in open source or do something in Google Summer of Code. Yeah, right. So yeah, that was how, you know, it made my mindset and I started learning things.
So आपने फिर वो उसका मेथड क्या रहा, वो स्किल्स जैसे आप कह रहे थे आपको API नहीं पता था, फिर आपने कैसे उस पहले तो आपने देखा होगा कि GSOC के लिए हमारे रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्या है, फिर उसके रिक्वायर के हिसाब से आपने रिसोर्सेज कलेक्ट किए होंगे और स्टार्ट किया था, तो वो मेथड आपने रोड मैप कैसे कवर किया था? So it's different for different people I guess, but आपके जर्नी में कैसा मेथड रहा था पूरा?
So in my case it was more or less about what I liked, right? As you said, there are certain avenues that every computer engineering or ICT student explores when they start college. DSA हो गया, डेटा साइंस हो गया, MLA हो गया, वेब डेव हो गया, ऐप डेव हो गया. तो you know what I did was I took up projects, right? अब देखो, there is something in Node.js that I did at that point of time. मैंने सब try किया कि चलो एक बार शुरू करते हैं, let's do a few projects and let's see if it's for me. Okay. Right. And turns out it wasn't. मेरे को नहीं interest आ रहा था. I can do that, but at the same point I don't like it that much, right? Similarly, you know, after a point I was like कि मेरे को game dev में interest है. अब game dev के अंदर भी काफी wide varieties of things है. It's not just about coding a game. There are things called graphic programming, right? जहाँ पे तुम vector math के साथ खेलते हो to make things work. ठीक है, और मेरे को पहले से ही थोड़ा harder level का थोड़ा interest था. So I started learning in that direction कि ये कैसे होता है, right? Then I found certain Reddit subreddits that, you know, talk about these topics, solve things like that. Found some Discord servers जहाँ पे लोग बातें करते हैं, and you know I started basically looking through the documentation of things that I wanted to learn. Okay. Right. Documentations are really helpful, and a good documentation makes good software. Something that I would like to say. You know, this was actually said to me by a mentor of mine in Google Summer of Code, and I really love that line. So yeah. Oh, nice. So tell us about mistakes you did, और आप चाहते हो कि वो व्यूअर्स या जो हम फ्यूचरिस्ट हैं, जो जूनियर्स हैं, वो आगे नहीं करे, जो आपको लग रहा था कि हाँ अगर ये चीज़ मैं नहीं करता तो शायद मैं और थोड़ा अचीव करता और नॉलेज मुझे गेन होते और
शायद मैं और कर सकता था.
I would say कि थोड़ा stick करना. One thing that I think that I made a mistake was on, I started a lot of things, but I was demotivated after a point. कि क्यों करना है? Why do I want to do this? Right? But then again, it was COVID. Everything was in my own.
Balance हो गया सब कुछ.
सब कुछ balance हो गया, right?
Exactly.
And it just felt like maybe, if I had had a little bit more consistency, I think I would have been able to do a lot more stuff, right? Abhi agar main baat karu, things have started offline. Now that is a different challenge, but let's not talk about that right now.
Yeah.
But as far as mistakes go, I would say start a little early if you're targeting certain organizations for Google Summer of Code. One mistake that I made was that I started, like researching organizations when the organizations came up.
Oh.
Right. Now, I wouldn't consider that as a mistake, but at the same time, many people benefit if they start a little early. अब जैसे VLC हो गया, which is like repeating GSOC organization, right? तो उसमें they require कि you are familiar with the code base, right?
Okay.
So if you're targeting certain companies, for example, Oracle, Red Hat, something along those lines, so start थोड़ा सा early. I think you'll find a lot of YouTube videos saying that as well. So
Okay. Oh, nice. Anything more?
Start early, contribute, network, work on your communication skills. It's important.
Exactly. लोगों के पास skills तो आती है, but अभी लोग 10 जने खड़े हैं, उसमें से अगर एक को लेना है तो communication skills matters a lot. Soft skills, how you interact with people, how you क्योंकि बहुत सारे सॉफ्ट स्किल्स ही मैटर करते हैं. तुम्हारा जो ड्रेसिंग सेंस है वो भी एक plays a vital role in your presentation.
Exactly. If you don't have good communication skills, तुम अपना पॉइंट ही आगे नहीं बता पा रहे हो, तो तुम कैसे लिखोगे? Right.
अगर मैं आपको कुछ समझा रहा हूँ और वो आप समझ ही नहीं पा रहे तो वो मेरा पॉइंट इट्स इनवैलिड.
Exactly.
तुम्हारा कितना भी नासा जितना बहुत अच्छा भी आइडिया हो, अगर तुम अपनी आइडिया ही एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पा रहे हो सामने वाले इंसान के सामने. Yeah, it's communication skills, right?
Communication skills, again, yeah, it's a very important point. Because again, ये पूरा चीज online होता है. I mean, you can work with someone who's living in America or Europe and you need to communicate at their time, right? तो तुम किस तरह से उनको text भेज रहे हो, emails भेज रहे हो, that also matters, right?
Okay.
So that is something that you need to look into.
Oh, nice. So there are two methods. So learn as you go, or first learn everything and then deliver. What worked for you?
I mean, I would say the former. Like learn as you go. Honestly, the project that I took up, I only knew 2 things out of the 3 things that were required, and I learned the third thing while working on the project and while I had time during the break where I was anticipating to be selected or not, right? This field, this IT sector or this computer science engineering का पूरा जो क्या बोलते हैं biome है, you won't know anything at a point. हर एक चीज को तुम्हें सीखना पड़ेगा and things are evolving so fast that you will require some time to sit down and learn. तो if you are like कि नहीं मेरे को नहीं सीखना तो तुम नहीं कर पाओगे कुछ. And similarly, I would say कि try learning while you're doing that thing. I've always believed in hands-on experience and I think that is important.
Yeah, कि प्रोजेक्ट से कुछ प्रोजेक्ट करो तो तुम्हारा लर्निंग भी जल्दी होगा और नए चीजें भी सीखोगे. Exactly. So learn as you go.
Learn as you go.
Oh, nice. So let's start with technical की बातें तो हुई, थोड़ा टेक्निकल नॉलेज मिल गया और अच्छा लगा कि तो फर्स्ट अपने बात करना. Let's something talk थोड़ा फन हो जाए टेक में. तो मेरे पास कुछ मीम्स है. You just have to rate the memes and if you want to elaborate that meme, let's elaborate. I'm showing my meme and that's
Meme review, guys.
Yeah, meme review.
PewDiePie.
Yeah. So it's like this is.
Okay.
First, rating the base.
I would say a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's open source, but that doesn't mean it does not have money, right? I mean, many open source projects require money. So if you are rich and if you can afford it, donate, sponsor them, sponsor the developers, please. But yeah, that's what I would like to say.
Yeah. So this
One does not simply monetize open source software. One sells something else at this. Yeah, that's actually true. And I mean, not trying to advise you, but as out there, that's all I would like to say.
rate this
5 out of 10.
5.
Going open with a legacy code. Isn't this what? Who did this? Some famous fan company did this, no?
Yeah.
In a Microsoft or someone did this. They just made their whole code as online available so that people will try to look into it. So, this is like 8 out of 10, man. When you contribute 2 lines to an open source code, people do this a lot.
Oh.
People do this a lot. Why do you think Hacktober is a scam?
Guys.
People, इसीलिए Hacktober में काफी सारे इस बार checks डाल दिए गए because people used to do this. Grammatical mistake में A का I कर दिया तो उसका उन लोगों को मिल जाता था. And that is not valid. You see? So
Nice. That was all about name review. Let's continue the podcast. Okay. So, friends, let me tell you that upcoming conversation is my favorite conversation, one of my favorite conversations. Share with your friends and all. Let's start to the back with the conversation with GSOC. कुछ ऐसी बात बताओ जो आपको GSOC में इंटरेस्टिंग लगी, जो मेंटर ने आपको बताया से आपने पहले मेंटर की बात बताई. ऐसा एक और ऐसा इंसिडेंट बताओ या इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरी बताओ GSOC में जो आपको interesting लगा हो पूरी लाइफ आपको लगा कि हाँ यार it's worth it. GSOC is worth it.
So wait, okay. Which one should I tell you guys? Okay. So there's this one जहाँ पे this was a time where it was middle of my coding period. That was like 3 or 5 weeks in. And I had not made a lot of progress because जिस चीज़ पे मैं काम कर रहा था, it was very cumbersome and everything that I did not show a lot of progress. So there was a point where my mentor literally went and said like तुम्हें इससे नहीं हो रहा तो मत करो ना, why are you wasting my time?
Okay. Oh.
Okay. So that happened and
Scott, just a mentor like do you have a single mentor or a mentor guides few 10, 15 or 20? How it's कैसा रहता है?
So in that case, like every organization has a different structure. Mine was just like 5 people who were trying to make this code work for the community, right? These people were professors in University of Edinburgh and European universities who had a passion for ground penetrating radar and its research, right? So they were mainly professors who were like trying to work and they had other stuff too, right? अब हो क्या रहा था कि उस टाइम पे कुछ प्रोग्रेस ज़्यादा आ नहीं रहा था and I was basically pestering my mentor कि मेरे से ये नहीं हो रहा वो नहीं हो रहा, right? And I think I learned it the hard way कि try everything first, take a break, but approach your mentor only when you have tried everything because even they are people, they have work. If you pester them with small doubts, they are not gonna respond, right? So उस टाइम पे he told me this one thing, trying to motivate me to work on it and I was like I want to work on it. It's not like I'm gonna leave this in midway. तो उन्होंने मेरे को बताया कि like the software that you're writing right now or the thing that you're working on, literally the software is being used by companies that are trying to ऐसे make models of things that will be inside the ground for around 90 kilometers. Okay, अब 90 किलोमीटर्स में तुम्हें एक एंटेना डालना है एंड वो चीज़ को तुम्हें ट्रांसमिट करवाना है तो उसका मॉडलिंग करने के लिए उसका डेटा ही तुम्हारा 90 TB का हो जाता है एंड दोज थिंग्स कैन नॉट बी फिट इनसाइड द करंट सॉफ्टवेयर. सो व्हाट यू आर डूइंग राइट नाउ will help them to accommodate into the software and help them to calculate these things that may take months and can be reduced to weeks.
Okay.
So that made me realize I'm actually making an important contribution to society. And I think that motivated me more to work on this and to I say encourage people to come into open source, because again, I think that is important that people think that they have something to, say grasp onto. Like people will remember you for that. Yeah.
Really nice.
Uh-huh.
So college life is incomplete दोस्ती यारी वो hostel. So you are a hostelite. So वो hostel की यादें वो fun. तो दर्शकों को आप बताओ कि आपके जो hostel life है, you are in third year, वो कुछ एक कहानी हो जाए, fun story हो जाए.
So I would tell you one thing. मैं first year में hostel था. I was a localite. I used to live in Ahmedabad.
Oh.
ठीक है. And mid-pandemic, my family shifted to another place, and I had to shift to hostel this year. So abhi ke liye, if I had one thing that I would like one incident that I would like to say is the one in first year. It was Tesseract, and since I'm in VGA, right?
Yeah.
तो फर्स्ट ईयर में मेरे को टेसराक्ट का बहुत ज़्यादा उत्साह था, तो मैंने क्या बताया, लिटरली कॉल्ड अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन जिसका बॉयफ्रेंड JMD में रहता था. ठीक है, मैंने उसको बोला कि डूड मेरा 3 दिन का रहने का सेटिंग करवाना. तो आई लिटरली स्टेड फॉर द 3 days ऑफ टेसराक्ट इन JMD हॉस्टल एंड अटेंडिंग इवेंट्स एंड एट द सेम टाइम शूटिंग देम.
तो भी वो JMD था, UG नहीं था.
I know, exactly. Right, and it was fun, honestly. Like that was my first hostel life experience, ऐसे जो भी थोड़ा बहुत था. So
okay, fine. So आपका जो वर्ष है, आप you around 20, you have explained 2023. तो यारों या दोस्ती जो है, जो आपके फ्रेंड्स है, उसका आपके साथ कितना एक्सपीरियंस रहा है, उनके साथ रहते आपने क्या एक लेसन सीखा. फन तो इट्स लाइक फन तो होता ही है, बट कभी कभी कोई एक दोस्त छोटी भी चीज ऐसी सिखा देता है कि वो हाँ यार, this made my life, this changed my track in life.
Okay, I kind of get it what you're trying to say. Okay, I mean, I would say that I think every uncle says this at this point, but surround yourself with good people.
Yeah, ऐसे बोला जाता है ना, you are average of 5 people.
Exactly, right. Yeah. Then that is true. You are in a way an average of the 5 people you hang out with a lot, right? Because again, if there is good, circle that you have जहाँ पे तुम्हारा healthy competition होता रहता है, तो you get a motivation to work. अब कई बार क्या होता है, like for example, if I talk about myself, I have an interest in things that many people don't.
Okay.
Right. तो कई बार क्या होता है कि the people I'm friends with don't really understand what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But I think I'm really grateful to a few friends of mine who really listen to me rant about stuff during GSOC, because I was frustrated. मेरे से project proposal नहीं बन रहा था, ये नहीं हो रहा था, वो नहीं हो रहा था. Like I still remember I called up this friend of mine and I literally told him everything, and he just went like, dude मेरे को कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है, but अगर मेरे को समझाने से समझ आ रहा है तो ठीक है. And I think that was really helpful. Okay, all he did was listen to me and tell me how hard this is and you are going to do it.
Okay.
Right, so I think that is really important. And I think try to understand, like over the years, like in friend circle में मैंने देखा है कि you will lose friendships, but that's important for you to grow.
Your career.
Not just your career in general, it's important for you to grow, and you need to understand that not everyone has time.
That's fine, completely fine. Yeah.
Right, not everyone has time to attend you, to invest time with you, so it's important and it's fine, as you said.
Yeah.
Right, it's completely fine to do, like have some space.
Yeah, so एक question arise होता है कि should we socialize with many people? क्योंकि ऐसे थोड़ा रहता है कि अगर आप बहुत सारे लोगों के साथ सोशलाइज हो जाते हो, सब यू कैन नॉट स्पेंड टाइम फॉर योरसेल्फ. अगर खुद के आई थिंक कि खुद के ऊपर भी टाइम स्पेंड करना बहुत जरूरी है फॉर योर ग्रोथ, फॉर योर मैनी रीजंस. सो शुड बी सोशलाइज, लाइक यू हैव मैनी एरियाज, यू हैव अ मैनी इंटरेस्ट, लाइक जैसे कि मैं बताऊं कि इज द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ अवर PDEU क्लब, लाइक DJ क्लब के फिल्म मेकिंग क्लब है जो उनके प्रेसिडेंट है. तो इसमें you have to work with many people. You have a good team. You have some committee members, core members, and you have to contact many people. And you have again technical also and other fronts. So आपका social जो culture है वो बहुत है. So according to you कि इतना socially connect होना is like worth it, क्योंकि जैसे आपने कहा कि एक एंड तक friendship lose हो जाएगी.
So one thing that I would like to say, there is a difference between friendship and acquaintancy.
Yeah.
Right. If I talk to a lot of people, that does not mean I have a lot of friends. I just have a lot of people that I can reach out to as goodwill. ठीक है. जब मैं लोगों से बात करता हूँ, I think it's really important, honestly. While it's important to spend time to yourself because that's what I've done, but at the same point, it's really important that you talk to a lot of people because that gives you a lot of different perspectives. राइट. अब पता चला कि एसएलएस वाले जो लोग हैं वो किस तरह से सोचते हैं. दे हैव अ होल डिफरेंट आउटलुक एट लाइफ. राइट. दे हैव अ होल डिफरेंट आउटलुक ऑन जर्नलिज्म. राइट. सो इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट कि अगर तुम कोई बीकॉम वाले से बात नहीं करोगे तो तुम्हें कैसे पता चला कि कंट्री का फाइनेंस कहाँ चल रहा है. ठीक है. कि कोई टेक्निकल वाले से बात नहीं करोगे तो कैसे पता चलेगा कि अभी पेटीएम में जो कंट्रोवर्सी चल रहा है वो किस कारण के लिए चल रहा है, ब्लॉकचेन में एनएफटी में क्या चल रहा है. राइट. So there are a lot of things that you can learn from people. So spend time for yourself. I mean, again, when I say I talk to a lot of people, that does not mean I talk to a lot of people in the single day. Right? It's more about talking to them and at the same time spending time with myself.
So yeah, network is your network. The president है इस film making club अपने college के PDEU जो VGA club है. VGA. तो इट्स लाइक आपका वो जो 3 साल की जर्नी रही है अभी, तो वो क्रिएटिविटी आप मुझे बताएं कि वो आपको एज ए क्रिएटिव माइंड कैसे डेवलप कराएगी.
सो आई वुड से कि आई ट्रीट वीजे एज अ हॉबी. राइट. बिकॉज मेरे को पहले से फिल्म्स में इंटरेस्ट तो था. मेरे को मूवीज देखना ज्यादा नहीं.
आपको एक्सपोजर मिला इसका?
बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपोजर मिला इधर आके. I did not know how to shoot films, but I knew how to edit stuff, right? And I knew how to, क्या बोलते हैं कि there is a thing called filmmaking जिसमें लोग करियर बनाते हैं, right? And I used to watch a lot of movies. Like it runs in my family in a way. मेरे पापा भी बहुत binge करते हैं, मेरे चाचा भी बहुत binge करते हैं, मैं भी बहुत देखता हूँ movies, right? तो एक तरह से I always had an interest कि किस तरह से बनती है movies, right? And if I talk about किस तरह से उसने मेरे को help किया, I mean it helped me as an escape to everything tech. अब मेरे को लगता है कि अगर मैं एक ही चीज़ को बार बार हर एक जगह से करता रहूँगा तो मेरा बर्नआउट बहुत जल्दी आ जाएगा. तो बर्नआउट नहीं आने के लिए मैंने सोचा कि let's not go into a technical club जहाँ पे मैं ये सेम चीज़ ही कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है. जो मैं डिग्री में कर रहा हूँ वही चीज मैं उधर जाके कर रहा हूँ तो क्या ही मतलब हो गया. नो डाउट अपॉर्चुनिटीज उधर थोड़ी अलग होगी, बट आई एम रियली ग्लैड दैट आई डिड नॉट चूज दैट पाथ. राइट. एक तरह से मेरे को इस साइड आके इतना सारा एक्सपोजर मिला मैनेजमेंट का. राइट. कि अब 60 लोगों की टीम को तुम्हें मैनेज करना है 4 दिन के लिए, उनको काम करवाना है, उनको थकान हो रही है फिर भी उनसे काम करवाना है. एग्जैक्टली. एंड द फैक्ट दैट learning the technical aspects of films, cinematography हो गया, sound design हो गया, music हो गया, right? किस तरह से scripts लिखते हैं. I've written scripts, I've directed things, I've shot things. Yeah. I've almost explored all the aspects of film making at an independent stage, right? तो एक तरह से वो मेरे को थोड़ा motivate करता है कि नहीं अगर मैं ये कर सकता हूँ तो मैं कुछ और भी कर ही सकता हूँ, क्यों नहीं, right? So हाँ.
So let's get back to the open source. जो आपने GSOC का प्रोग्राम करा उससे आपको बेनिफिट्स क्या मिले? ठीक है, स्टाइफंड इज साइड, उससे आपको बेनिफिट्स क्या मिले उसके अलावा?
I kind of do this in my presentations as well. Of course पैसा मिला, of course माँ बाप से इज्जत मिली, of course मेरे को ऐसे क्या बोलते हैं फेम मिला, but at the same time I learned a lot कि किस तरह से काम होता है, किस तरह से I felt इंडिपेंडेंट कि हाँ चलो अगर मैं किस चीज़ के ऊपर फोकस करता हूँ तो मेरे को वो चीज़ मिल जाएगी. राइट. आई कैन एक्चुअली लर्न दैट एंड डू इट. ठीक है. And as far as opportunities go, a mentor of mine also just wrote a research paper in which I was a contributor, right? And now that is still yet to be published, but that happened. And उसके अलावा I'm still exploring different avenues. मेरे को थोड़ा बहुत clarity है कि मेरे को क्या करना है. And I can always reach out to my mentors who are in universities outside if I want to go to masters.
After your program आपका program complete हो गया. तो भी.
Yeah, I can reach out to them and talk to them about what I want to do. So yeah.
So okay, तो जैसे ये GSOC का आपने प्रोग्राम किया, तो अब अपॉर्चुनिटी क्या है, आपका क्या फ्यूचर है ये आपके इस प्रोग्राम के बाद, ये आपने जो अपॉर्चुनिटी रिसीव करी है, क्या उसके आगे फ्यूचर है उसका, क्या आप उसमें जुड़ना चाह सकते हो?
हाँ, मतलब अगर मेरे को जुड़ना होगा तो आई कैन. एंड थोड़ा सा भारी क्वेश्चन होगा बिकॉज मेरे को भी आंसर पता नहीं है अभी तक. बट हाँ, ये चीज़ मान लो कि इवन इफ यू आर डन GSOC, इट्स नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल नो अबाउट इट. ठीक है, अभी इंडिया का अगर मैं थोड़ा बहुत सीन बताऊँ तो लोगों को पता ही नहीं है GSOC क्या है कई बार. ठीक है, तो जब इंटर्नशिप्स की बारी आती है, यू डोंट गेट अ लेवरेज. इफ द पीपल इन द कंपनी नो अबाउट GSOC देन यू माइट गेट अ लेवरेज, बट इन जनरल तुम्हें लेवरेज नहीं मिलता है, राइट? सो हाँ, दैट इज द हार्श रियलिटी दैट आई एम स्टिल फेसिंग, बट इट्स फाइन. आई मीन अगेन
एक्सपीरियंस, दैट्स द इंपॉर्टेंट.
या एग्जैक्टली, एक एक्सपीरियंस रहा एंड मेरे को एक्चुअली क्लैरिटी आ गया कि मेरे को किस चीज़ में जाना है, राइट? सो इफ आई स्टार्ट सर्चिंग फॉर थिंग्स लाइक अलोंग दोज लाइंस, आई थिंक इट विल हेल्प मी.
Okay. So, future क्या है इस open source का? क्या future है इस?
It's there to stay. Open source won't go away because जितना transparency रहेगा, जितना अब again blockchain is based on transparency.
Yeah.
Blockchain ही नहीं जा रहा है, for example, तो open source भी कैसे ही जाएगा? People rely on open source software to build proprietary stuff. ठीक है, मतलब अगर तुम सोचो, अगर किसी ने क्या बोलते हैं एक ओपन प्रोटोकॉल नहीं निकाला होता एनक्रिप्शन का, डू यू थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल वुड हैव मेड डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एनक्रिप्शन बेस्ड ऑन दैट, राइट? तो वही बात है, अगर आस्की स्टैंडर्ड नहीं बनता तो तुम्हें लगता है कि और चीज़ें बनती, इतना स्टैंडर्डाइज, इतना ग्लोबलाइजेशन होता. तो ओपन सोर्स में अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. एंड आई थिंक आई फॉरगॉट टू मेंशन देयर आर लॉट ऑफ नॉन टेक जॉब्स इन ओपन सोर्स एज वेल.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think you should, if everyone who's watching this, search for non-tech jobs if you're not interested in coding. ठीक है, like अब जैसे हो गया community building, हो गया organization में management का, हो गया, right? थोड़ा सा technical background it helps you, but it does not require you to have technical background, right? It's more of a management thing. Then there is documentation, there is writing mails to people. Now those things just require you to have good communication skills, and even that can help you work in open source. So yeah.
So what are your major or the minor setbacks or the failure जो आपने observe करा आपकी लाइफ में और पर्सनली, और उसने आपको बहुत कुछ सिखाया या उसने आपको अपॉर्चुनिटीज दी है?
एक सेटबैक तो मतलब मैं क्या ही बोलूँ, आई मीन कोविड में मेरे दादा को कोविड हो गया था, मम्मी को कोविड हो गया था, राइट? एंड आई हैड टू स्टे एट होम फॉर लाइक 2.5 months. इतना जिस तरह से क्या है क्या नहीं, आई हैड टू डू थिंग्स ऑन माय ओन. उसके अलावा एक मेजर सेटबैक की अगर बात करें, आई थिंक व्हेन आई फाउंड आउट दैट आई डिड नॉट क्वालिफाई फॉर JEE एडवांस, ठीक है, दैट वाज वन थिंग. आई मीन आई फेल्ड इन JEE एडवांस, लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट, ठीक है. एंड आई सॉर्ट ऑफ started looking for other opportunities, and over time I realized that everything leads to the same thing. I am happy where I am, and if I have exposure, that is more important than being in a good college.
So it was a great talk. बहुत मजा आया, टेक्निकल चीजें सीखी, जो चीजें शायद मैंने अभी तक एक्सप्लोर नहीं की, पर्सनली एक्सप्लोर नहीं की थी, आज मुझे पता चले कि हाँ ये एग्जिस्ट भी करती है. सो पर्सनली मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा आपसे बात करते हुए. सो थैंक्स अ लॉट कि आपका वैल्यूएबल टाइम देने के लिए. थैंक यू लिसनर्स फॉर लिसनिंग द होल पॉडकास्ट. तो बिफोर रैपिंग दिस, आई वुड लाइक टू लिसन योर फेवरेट कोट या कोई मंत्रा या कोई एक लाइफ लेसन जो आप मुझे और ऑडियंस को बताना चाहते हो.
चलेगा? नहीं, कुछ नहीं है मेरा वैसा, तुम लोग करो जिसको जो करना है, ठीक है? डू व्हाट यू डू, ठीक है?
Go with the flow.
Do what you
love.
Do what you do.
So thank you so much from the team White.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.